In this video, we are going to connect our Lasernet configuration to a previously existing server instance that has been configured. Next, we want to commit and deploy our current configuration to that server instance so that this is now running within our environment. We are then going to create a new server within the license manager, connect this to the configuration manager, and finally connect our Lasernet developer to use this server instance that we have just created. So first of all, we want to open up the Lasernet developer and navigate to the servers tab on the left-hand side. Now this gives us access to any servers that have been configured against this Lasernet build. And at the moment, we only have a default configuration. So if we double click on default and go to the instance drop-down, we can see all instances that have been configured within our Lasernet configuration manager. At the moment, we have one just called dev. So if we click on dev and press OK, we can now connect to this server environment. Next of all, what we want to do is we want to commit any changes that we have in our configuration, which at the moment is just simply connecting to this server, but commit and deploy it to this server that we have just connected to. So if we go to commit, you can see here, this is the object that has been changed. We can see any changes that have been made. And in this case, we'll be able to see lots of different changes that have been made here. And we can label this as well, or put a message in. So I'm just going to write in added new server instance. Press OK, and that has now committed all of our changes. But next of all, we may want to also deploy these changes to the server. So if I click on deploy, you can see that dev now appears, and I can press OK to deploy those changes to that server. So next of all, what we want to do is add in a new server instance. So first of all, what we need to do is open up our Lasernet server license manager. Now within here, you'll be able to see any previously created instances that may have been configured. So here we have the dev one, but we want to add in a brand new one. So in here, I want to add in a Lasernet service, and I'm just going to call this prod. Now what you'll also see is that I cannot press OK until I change the port. This is because the port is already being used by the dev instance. So I'm going to change this to 3280 and press OK. And this will now create a new service instance on this local host machine. However, I first of all need to activate the license. So I can first of all, I can either add in a demo license, or if I double click on this, click on activate, I can now add in a license code against this server. I don't have a license code, but I do have a demo license. So I'm going to click on import demo license, import that, and that has now given me a demo license that works up until August. So now that we have created this server instance, I now need to connect this within our config manager. So if I open up the config manager, sign in, I can now add in a new server. So if I go to add, I want to type in my instance name, which is going to be called prod, and our server, which is going to be localhost. Finally, I need to change the port. I should now be able to set that up and connect to our instance. However, before I do that, I need to add in a client secret. So this is what connects our service that we've configured within the license manager to the Lasernet config server. So if I go back to the license manager and go edit on prod, you'll be able to see that I get the client secret that I can simply copy using this copy to clipboard tool and paste it in there. So I now press OK. That has now connected our config manager to our service that we have set up. So now going back into the developer, I can now add in a new server instance by going to add. And on the drop down, you'll see that prod now exists as an option. So if I press OK, I can now commit those changes with my additional server added. Press OK, and that has now committed my changes. And that concludes the video.